Okay, so we just read the Grimm brothers story Cinderella. Do you want to give a summary and then we'll talk about it?
Mhm. So there was a wealthy man and his wife fell sick, and as she was dying, she called her daughter to the bedside, and she told her that to be a good and pious person, and that God will always protect her. Then she passed away, and after that happened, the father got married, I think, in the next spring, um, and she the new stepmother had two daughters, two daughters with her, and they mistreated um, the girl, Cinderella. They mistreated her. They forced her to do hard labor in the kitchen, and yeah, she was given like a bed sheet as a for clothes, and yeah, she was just neglected and couldn't have anything nice. And every day Cinderella would visit her mother's grave and uh, I think cry. Um, and whenever I think whenever she was there, a little bird would come. Um, yeah, and then one day the her father was going away on travels, and he asked each daughter they would like for him to bring. So one stepdaughter said she wanted pretty dresses. The next one wanted pearls and jewels. And then when he asked Cinderella what she wanted, she said that she wanted the first branch that would hit him, like on his travels. And on his way back, um, I think his leg got caught in a piece of like a hazelwood branch. Oh,
I think he got hit by it, but yeah, anyway.
yes, by hazel bush. And so he took that branch from the hazel bush and he took it back to Cinderella. In Cinderella, she took that hazel bush branch and she placed it at her mother's grave. And she would cry so much when she visited it that the branch grew and grew and became a tree. And from the tree, a little white bird would come every time she went there to sit under. And whatever she wished for, the little bird would grant. Eventually, there was word of a festival to appointed all set up by the king to help his son, the prince, find a bride. So all the eligible girls from across the land were able to come. And of course, the stepdaughters were going. But when Cinderella asked to come, she was denied, and she was crying about not being able to go to the ball. So she begged the stepmother, and the stepmother told her that if she could find some lentils, a bowl of lentils scattered among the ashes, she would be able to go. So she scattered the lentils and some ashes, and then she asked the doves and pigeons for help. And within an hour, they were all able to gather the lentils. And once she presented it to the stepmother said that it wasn't enough and that she would have to actually find two bowls of lentils scattered in the ashes. So the same thing happened, and Cinderella called upon the pigeons and doves to help her. And she was able to pick it within the hour. Um, and once she came back to the stepmother told her that she was dirty and she couldn't dance. Um, and and that it wasn't enough for her to be able to do that. So she made another excuse for Cinderella not to go. And yet Cinderella still had to help the stepdaughters prepare for the festival.
Hmm.
So once she faced the I think it was the second or third rejection, uh, she went to the hazel tree on her mom's grave and she wept and said, shiver and quiver, little tree, silver and gold throw down to me. And then the little dove came down and threw a dress over to her and some shoes. So she dressed up and she went to the ball. And when she arrived, uh no one could recognize her, not even her stepsisters. And the prince noticed her and would only dance with her throughout the night. And he would tell all the other suitors that she was his partner. Uh, and when it came time to leave, Cinderella was able to escape quickly, and she went back to, I don't know where she lived, but like in a little pigeon house
Yeah,
or
it's like he
in the
started to
kitchen.
walk her home, but then yeah,
Hmm.
she escaped into there.
Yeah, so she quickly went back to the tree and took off the gown and the shoes, and the little bird took it away, and she went back to the kitchen and went back to being like covered in ashes and her raggedy clothing. And then on the second day,
Well, we should
she
mention
wants,
that the prince looked for her and asked her stepfather and said she had gone into the pigeon house, and then so he destroyed the pigeon house, but she escaped before they could see that she was in it.
so then on the second day of the festival, she once again went back to the little tree, and this time she said, shiver and quiver, my little tree, silver and gold throw down over me. And this time the little doves they threw an even more beautiful gown down to her. And she once again went back to the festival, and everyone there was more astonished than the last time. And the prince was only focused on her, and he said the same thing that she was his partner and no one else was to dance with her. And she was able to escape a second time. Mm, I think she
This
escaped the
into a
same way.
pear tree. She climbs up it like a squirrel.
Yeah, yeah. So she did that, and yeah, she was able to go back to the kitchen and dress up in her gray gown again, and she wasn't recognized or discovered. And then on the third day, she went back to the little tree and she said the same thing, shiver and quiver, my little tree, silver and gold, throw down over me. And this time the bird threw down a magnificent dress uh, that was still levels above the previous ones. And when she went, she was well, she caught everyone's eye, of course.
And they were so
It was just,
astonished they couldn't really
mhm,
speak.
mhm. And once again, the king's son sought her out, and this time he was feeling anxious. So he had prepared for her escaping him again, and he put tar right over a stairwell. So this time when Cinderella ran away, it caught one of her shoes, uh, and he used that to try to find her. So she once again escaped and wasn't caught or anything. And she left behind the shoe. So the prince started going to households looking for her, or maybe he already knew what kind of household it was. Um,
Yeah, he'd already been
uh,
there and met her stepfather.
mhm, mhm. So he went back and he spoke to the stepmother, and of course, she wanted to present her daughters and pass them off as the ones that fit in the shoe. So she told the first stepdaughter uh, she couldn't fit her toe in the shoe. So the stepmother took her aside and instructed her to cut her toe off and and rationalized that once she's a queen, she won't have use for her feet. So the stepdaughter cut her toe off and was able to fit in the shoe. And They convinced the prince that she was the true bride. So they got on the carriage, and as they passed the hazel bush tree, the little pigeon said, turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe is too small for her. The true bride awaits for you." And he noticed her foot and realized it was bleeding. So he took her back to the household and told the stepmother that this one wasn't the true bride and that to give her the real one. So the stepmother took the second stepdaughter and she was able to fit her feet in the shoe, but not the heel. And this time the stepmother instructed the second stepdaughter to cut a bit of her heel because once again, once she's queen, she won't have need for her feet. And the prince was convinced again, so he took her back on the carriage. And as he passed the hazel bush tree again, the pigeons said, turn and peep, there's blood within the shoe. The shoe is too small for her, the true bride waits for you." So they repeated the same thing, and when the prince looked down, he realized that there was blood on her white stocking. So he knew she wasn't the one, and he took her back again. And this time the father was present, and the prince asked if there was any other maiden in the household. And he told him that there's Cinderella, but that it couldn't possibly be her. Um, but he still insisted on seeing her. So uh, Cinderella came down and to the stepmother and daughter's shock, like her, she was able to fit in the shoe perfectly. And the prince then knew that she was the true bride and he was able to recognize her face. And he immediately took her off into the carriage um, and they got married. And then on the wedding day, the stepmother and daughters, they wanted to get on Cinderella's good side now and share the fortune. So, uh, yeah, they came, and as they were walking with Cinderella, some pigeons came and pecked one of her eyes out. And when they walked back with Cinderella, they had reverse sides. So then the pigeons took the other eye out. So they were blinded in both eyes for the rest of their lives.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Again, really good retelling.